Wesley Snipes. You won't believe this one, of Hollywood's biggest action stars went from millionaire fame to prison bars, and somehow clawed his way back into legend. This is the wild rise, fall, and comeback of Wesley Snipes, the man who turned Blade into a milestone long before Marvel became a billion-dollar empire. But behind the sunglasses and silver sword was a man fighting battles most fans never saw. So how did a kid from the Bronx become a Hollywood king, lose it all to scandal and debt, and still return as an icon? Let's dive in. Born in Orlando, Florida in 1962, young Wesley Trent Snipes didn't stay long in the sunshine. His family moved to the South Bronx, a world of poverty, crime, and constant sirens. But instead of falling into that chaos, Wesley discovered two passions that would shape his life: martial arts and performing. While kids his age were running the streets, Wesley was in his cramped room, practicing kicks, punches, and imagining himself as a warrior. And when he wasn't throwing punches, he was chasing the stage. He went on to attend Manhattan's High School of Performing Arts, the same place that produced Broadway legends. He was poor, but he had fire in his veins. By 1986, that fire hit the screen. Wesley's first role in Wildcats wasn't anything special, but in 1987, something big happened. He was cast as the menacing gang leader in Michael Jackson's Bad music video. Millions of fans around the world saw his piercing eyes and thought, "Who is this guy?" That was the spark. A few years later, he exploded as drug lord Nino Brown in New Jack City, 1991. That role turned him into an A-list star overnight. By 1992's Passenger 57, Wesley wasn't just an actor. He was Hollywood's next action king, standing toe-to-toe with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then came the role that would define his career, Blade. Back in 1998, nobody believed a superhero movie could succeed. Marvel. It wasn't Marvel yet. It was struggling to stay alive. But when Wesley Snipes appeared in that leather coat, sword in hand, hunting vampires with pure swagger, everything changed. Blade cost $45 million and pulled in $131 million worldwide. Critics called it groundbreaking. Fans couldn't get enough. Two sequels followed, and together the trilogy made nearly $500 million. More importantly, Blade paved the way for the Marvel Universe we know today. Without Wesley Snipes, there may never have been Iron Man, Captain America, or Black Panther. He wasn't just an action hero either. In 1997, his performance in One Night Stand won him Best Actor at the Venice Film Festival. He was at the top, rich, famous, respected. But fame has a dark side. By the early 2000s, Wesley's reputation took a hit. Stories spread that he was difficult to work with, moody, temperamental, impossible to control. On the set of Blade Trinity in 2004, things got ugly. Co-stars claimed he refused to talk to the director face-to-face, only passing notes. Some said he wouldn't leave his trailer. Even Ryan Reynolds, his co-star, hinted at the tension without naming names. The film made money, but critics ripped it apart. And Wesley's career took a nosedive. Studios stopped calling. While actors like Denzel Washington and Will Smith dominated, Wesley drifted into smaller films and straight-to-DVD projects. But the biggest storm wasn't in Hollywood. It was in real life. In the early 2000s, Wesley stopped paying his taxes. He got caught up with so-called tax protesters, who convinced him he didn't have to pay federal income tax. Between 1999 and 2004, he skipped filing altogether, and the IRS claimed he owed tens of millions. In 2006, he was charged with multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. The trial became a media circus. His lawyers said he was misled. Prosecutors said he knew exactly what he was doing. The verdict? Guilty of failing to file his taxes. In 2010. Wesley Snipes, the man who once ruled the box office, was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. Headlines screamed, "From red carpet to prison cell." Behind bars, he stayed quiet. He read books, practiced martial arts, and reflected on his mistakes. After 28 months, he was released in 2013. His empire was gone, his mansion sold, his cars auctioned, and the IRS still claimed he owed millions. Wesley Snipes went from tens of millions in wealth to being deep in debt. Most stars never recover from something like that. But Wesley isn't most stars. In 2014, he made his comeback in The Expendables 3. Standing alongside Stallone and Schwarzenegger, Wesley cracked a joke about being locked up for tax evasion, a joke at his own expense. Audiences loved it. The man still had charisma. In 2021, he showed his comedic side in Coming to America, playing the over-the-top General Izzy, complete with ridiculous dance moves. Fans realized Wesley could still surprise them. And then came Marvel. In 2024, during Deadpool and Wolverine, Wesley Snipes appeared in a shocking Blade cameo. Just seconds on screen, but the theater erupted. Fans cheered so loud, it broke Comic-Con records. Ryan Reynolds even nicknamed him Marvel Daddy, because let's be real, Wesley built the foundation of Marvel long before the MCU existed. It also earned him a Guinness World Record, the longest gap between playing the same superhero, 20 years. But the story isn't just about fame, it's about resilience. Today, Wesley Snipes isn't the highest-paid actor in Hollywood. He isn't living in mansions or driving supercars. Instead, he lives more quietly with his wife Nikki Park, who stood by him through his prison sentence and their 4 children. Along with his eldest son, he's a father of 5. For Wesley, family became his greatest treasure. In interviews, he admits prison taught him one lesson: time is more valuable than money. He said the hardest part wasn't the debt or the disgrace, it was missing his kids grow up. And maybe that's why his story hits so hard. Wesley Snipes went from being Blade, the man who saved Marvel, to a fallen star buried under scandal, to a father, husband, and living legend who proved you can rise from the ashes. His name will forever be tied to Blade. And no matter what Marvel does next, in the hearts of fans, Wesley Snipes will always be the original vampire hunter. So, what do you think? Should Wesley Snipes get one last full Blade movie, or is the torch already passed? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. And hey, if you enjoyed this story of resilience and redemption, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We've got plenty more untold Hollywood stories coming your way.